hope I can meet you later on. That would be wonderful. And I'm surprised that none of the Hitchcocks are here because I'm very fond of them.
Yeah, well, Don is not feeling well.
Yeah. I had one of the Hitchcock kids in my class. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the board of directors and to Tina and to these case managers and to the staff for having this wonderful event. It is just wonderful. It really, truly is, and I'm very grateful. Now, I do want to give a bit of history. Jim Hartley, who was the assistant minister at the Presbyterian Church in the late 80s, 86, 87, had an adult education class on current issues. And of course, homelessness came up. And the discussion was the usual, why, how, what can be done, and so forth. And finally, some voice said, let's not talk, let's do something.
Probably Mary.
But when I walked in today and saw this facility, something was done. And when Stan told me it was going to be great, it is great. It is great. But I want to tell you a little bit too about beds and about labs. The motivating force in beds was a woman named Janine Schmidt and her husband, Cope. And Janine just pressed on, and before we knew it, we were on a committee, and then the committee turned into a board, and then I think it really was Jean that got the idea. Maybe we could ask other churches. And then the churches became very cooperative and said, sure, we'll help. And then, of course, there had to be some other organizational work done, much discussion, and before I knew it, Sharon and I were riding around in this truck collecting mattresses from churches who had had programs and hadn't worked out. And so we were collecting mattresses and bedding and towels and all this stuff, And then, of course, we had to organize laundry people. And some of these wonderful women and men volunteered to pick up the dirty laundry and go home and wash it and bring it back to that site. I mean, that's asking a lot of a volunteer. I always said if I got homeless, I was going to beds because they'd have clean linens every day. And then, of course, we had to have food teams because we were going to feed these people at 7 o'clock at night and get them out by 7 o'clock in the morning. And I got to be, Gloria Hanlis and I got to be on Judy McAtee's cooking team. And Judy had just been back to college to learn how to be a chef. So we had a wonderful time. And our favorite site was over in Brookfield, and that was Sharon Sherrick's site that she had to oversee. But we had wonderful experiences. And I'm very big on ecumenism. It was wonderful to be helping people in need. I think we all have that within us, that we like to help others. But we also learned to be friends with people from other churches. And
in other denominations even?
Yeah. And it was just great. And here, that Roman Catholic Church, St. Francis up there, was wonderful. And Tina just told me today, they're still going. Why did we like them? They had showers. But when I look back, it was really just a matter of a few months before these churches were organized. The beds were found, the laundry people were found, the food people were found, and the volunteers who had to come and work those nights were found, and we had, I think, 4 shifts, and it just really worked out well. And today, when I was driving down Joliet Road, there was our first church. The first night we had beds in Lutheran Hope Church, a small church on Joliet Road. That was our first church. And Tina was not sure of the exact date, but I really think it was probably 1988. I can't go upstairs in my house, and my files are all upstairs. So I couldn't look it up for sure. But that was the beginning of beds. Just think of the miraculous journey Beds has been on to come from this handful of churches here, providing shelter for homeless people, getting them out of the forest preserve and the depot stations, to this marvelous facility. I mean, the spirit of goodness is alive.
Wow.
Now, it really was only a matter of a few months, I mean this, a few months, when we began to realize that there were families facing homelessness. Now, as far as I can remember, and I think this was at the site that Sharon was overseeing, we had the police bring us 2 families. The one family had had an accident over on the highway, and they knew nobody, and they had very little money, and of course they had a breakdown, I think, or some sort of an accident, and the police are very reluctant to have children in the jail. I think they would have kept the parents there, but they brought them to us. And those residents of ours had a ball. They loved those kids. But we saw that wasn't too good. We didn't like that. And of course the kids took to it because it was like camping, you know. And of course there was all this good food around. That was fun too. And the other family that I remember had had a fire, I think over in Riverside. I can't believe it, but I think it was. And again, they just didn't have any place to go because even, 30 years ago, there weren't a lot of extended families for every single person. And so those are the only 2 families. But that really wasn't the reason we began thinking about families facing homelessness. A lot of it had to do with Constance Morris, we have to admit that. But anyway, this time, the motivating force was another woman, was Jean Gordon. And Jean was a good organizer, very aware of details, and she had this vision. And the thing is, Jean was a person who could take ideas and put them into action. And so the next thing we know, we are looking for apartments. And sure enough, we found one. And we had no trouble getting it furnished. Everybody was donating stuff. And I remember somebody volunteered to give us furniture from their 3rd floor.
Please take that.
In a house over on Kensington. It was probably about 150 years old, with real narrow steps. And I know Brad deserved.
He's
not
here.
easy. Brad is not a real tiny person. He and his buddies were, I don't know, Dan, whether you were there.
Not that one.
It was very hard to move this stuff up. But we got that apartment, and we had no trouble getting it furnished. We had no trouble,
Finding a family.
getting the family, no. So there we were, off and running. And I really think it must have been very early in the 90s. It might even have been earlier than that. And it was just this little apartment. Well, committee soon turned into a board. And then we began having some serious discussions. And one discussion had to do with who's a family. And we had a hard time deciding that. And we finally left it kind of fluid. But the family had to have children. And I was interested in hearing Tina talk today about that concern too. And then we had to have money. We had to have funds. So Karen Gardstrom acted as our first treasurer, but we were just a little committee then, and we were just going around to churches, and I was one of those fundraisers. And my big pitch was, we are not getting government money, so it's going to depend on private donations from all of you. And man, this lovely conservative community really came through. Well, then we had to have a full-time volunteer treasurer, and we found Gwen Hitchcock. Now Gwen, very conscientious and very hardworking. And then she also had this handy guy at home, her businessman husband, who helped a little with her setting up the books and so forth. And so Gwen came on as our treasurer. And then around this time, we decided that maybe we needed some paid help. And so we found Barb Zender. I thought maybe Barb would be here today. Are you?
No, Barb was the
No, Barb.
I don't think she was.
Well, the first thing, Barb had experience and expertise. And the first thing she did was she moved our office out of a Sunday school room at the Presbyterian Church and into the old medical building, which is right across the street from the big parking garage.
The new garage.
And we had this real office with 2 little rooms and a duplicating machine and so forth. And of course, now we had all the equipment and we were going to do fundraising. So we sent out letters, we visited churches, we visited organizations, we got our families to help us, we got our friends to help us, and we were raising funds. Then we decided a party was the idea. So we had our first party out in an office building on 22nd Street in Westchester. It was one of those little restaurants, not little, pretty nice restaurants, fancy office building.
Moon Dance.
But they were
It
all...
was named Moon Dance, and that you're talking about, that's the restaurant you had that party, and I was at it.
That's wonderful. That's
Right.
wonderful. But the thing was, they were open at the beginning of the day, but they were closed at night. But our first party was a 50s party. And we had music, and we had dancing, and we had fun. And for dinner, we had meatloaf, macaroni and cheese, Jell-O salad, and apple pie.
Perfect.
Kind of a far cry from our bigger parties where we got to go to the country club thanks to some volunteer. And Mary Grether's mom donated her Cadillac for us one year, and this wonderful Dan that is still on the board for, I believe, for the Pillars.
Oh, Dennis
He
Cousins.
made a beautiful trellis for us. So we were on our way. Parties were coming in. And one time, we had to have a little legal help. And I'm sorry the Vanderwoods aren't here today, because Jean, I can remember Jean saying, you know, if we hadn't had legal advice from Paul, I think we'd all be in jail. Because of the way we were handling our leasing and signing papers. And
It was just a matter of getting incorporated. So it was okay. Wasn't that bad?
We went on. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the mentoring program. This was our other main concern. We felt getting a roof over the head of a family was very, very important. But then we really wanted them to become stable enough that they could provide their own home and become really independent. So that meant they've got to have some help. So we decided on a mentoring program, and we went out to Catholic Charities in Downers Grove, where they had started a housing program a few years earlier, and we got some very valuable advice and suggestions and some wonderful stories that I won't tell you, but I'm tempted to.
No, good training.
We organized ourselves and we worked in pairs. And Brad and I were one pair, you remember? And then Dick, I can't remember.
Oh, Dick.
He and I were another pair, and then Louise and I were the last pair I worked with before I went downstate. And so when Louise came along, she was a wonderful person because she's friendly, outgoing, and she had lots of common sense, practical ideas. Now, one thing as mentors we tried to do was help these people learn about the resources that this wonderful community has. One was the LaGrange Nursing Association. You know, they had clinics, and they had just started their dental clinic. And then they had that wonderful thrift shop. Well, then, of course, we got them into school. And I remember we were able to get some of the children into the Head Start program, which was, wonderful. Delighted Carol was here today. And then we even got First National Bank to help these people open bank accounts, because many of them did have jobs. Well, budgeting was a problem. And I can remember also teaching, explaining how you use the bank account. And I remember once we were going to have this young woman check her bank statement against her checks and against her own record. And she said, "Oh, I threw the checks away." She said they'd been used. I remember that was the time when we didn't get imaging. We got the canceled checks and so forth. And I said, "Well, didn't you learn about this in consumer ed in high school?" And she said, "Well, yes, but they didn't say anything about saving checks." so it went. But we also, and I learned also, where the employment office was. And finding jobs was an eye-opener, because I never realized how many businesses hire part-time people for 20 hours so they don't have to pay benefits. So that means if you get a 20-hour job, a week job, you're going to have 2 or 3 in order to really make ends meet. And so then you have daycare problems. So there were just lots of resources that we had. And as I said, Louise was a gifted mentor. And I just want to say, when I think those other 3 women are in heaven laughing and clapping right now, because we are just one small part of L.A.T.H. Just one small part of L.A.T.H. We got the loving support of churches, of organizations, and of many, 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 many individuals that made this building and those 4 wonderful homes a reality. It is just unbelievable. And I just feel down deep that this larger community area really following that greatest commandment of all, love thy neighbor. I really think